What's up, and welcome to 5280 Film Room.
We're a Colorado sports podcast by fans for fans.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, and also follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
You can also email us your input, questions, and ideas at 5280filmroom@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening.
What's up, Colorado sports fans? Thanks for listening to 5280 Film Room. My name's Gideon.
I'm Miles.
And I'm Jordan.
We got some quick news to recap over the last week. We're going to jump right into some quick Denver Broncos news. They acquired, none of this is strictly official yet until the league season starts next week, but there are agreements between the Broncos and the Ravens for the Broncos to pull in Joe Flacco. I know we talked about that a little bit last week, but the new news as of, yesterday?
Yesterday or today, yeah.
The Broncos found a landing spot for Case Keenum, which is what we were looking for. We're going to be sending Keenum to the Redskins, and out of the Broncos' pocket, we're going to pay him $3.5 million out of the $7 million that he was guaranteed, and an additional $500,000 to restructure his contract. So essentially, we paid
and swap picks.
Yeah, and swap picks. So we moved up in the 2020 draft, though.
Yeah, but
so
still,
it's not
picks.
Immediate value, but we moved up in next year's draft from our seventh. So we're gonna have 2 6th-round picks next season's draft.
Which I think it's a good trade.
Oh, it was a great move.
I thought the Broncos were gonna just cut Case.
We spent $4 million to save $3 million total, or maybe it was 3.5. I don't know. We gave money that we were gonna have to give Case Keenum anyways, and it was a lot less than what was guaranteed on his contract, because then the Redskins get to use him all year next season, so that's why they covered the other half of his guaranteed contract. But I think that $500,000 bonus means that the $18 million contract that he initially signed for this season is now no longer valid. And next season, 2019 to 2020, this upcoming season, he will basically be playing for the 3.5 that the Redskins are paying him.
Yeah, and I think it's good for everybody involved, because the Broncos, if they were just going to cut him, they would have to still pay that $7 million to him. And the Redskins need a quarterback. In case, if he stayed here, he was just going to be the backup. At least now he can
be a starter.
Yeah.
It was a win-win.
He can compete
all
for
around.
a job.
A win-win-win for the player and both teams. Finally, not a dumb decision that John Elway made. Like, even bringing in Joe Flacco is pretty questionable, but he is a better quarterback than Case Keenum, so I think we took a step or two forward in that direction. When it first got announced, it was like, well, what do we do now? No one's going to want Case Keenum. But
exactly.
Finding a landing spot for Keenum is definitely good for him, and it's good for the Broncos. Solidifies Flacco as our starter for next season and opens the door for a little bit easier way of drafting for this season. We might be able to grab a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th rounds. Or we could also just bolster up our offensive line and our defensive needs so that next year, when there's a solid quarterback class, we're going to have to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I agree. One, currently, Kevin Hogan is our backup quarterback, right?
He's great.
Yeah.
Totally. So I feel like they're going to do something in the draft, or
for
possibly even trade for Rosen, because it's like, how would you guys feel about that? A 3rd-round pick? You don't like it?
No.
I don't know. I mean,
because he's with the Cardinals right now, right?
Currently.
Because they're saying if they get Murray, they're going to dump Rosen.
Yeah. I mean, they would have to trade him, I would think.
Yeah. I think for the Cardinals, it makes more sense for them to make that move on draft day. I don't think we'll see any movement on Rosen up until then. If we do, that basically has the Cardinals showing their hand they're going to draft Kyler Murray.
Exactly. But if the Broncos could get him for, third round pick with his potential, like he's only played 1 year in
honestly,
the NFL.
like
he's better than Josh Allen. That's for sure.
I don't
necessarily.
But Josh Allen went ahead of him in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
true.
necessarily like it. Kind of in line with where you're at, Gideon, but given the track record of Elway's decisions, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. And I think
I
think Rosen has a lot of growing to do. Like the only issues
He
I've heard
does.
with him is character issues, essentially.
Nothing worse than Chad Kelly.
That's true. Like it sounds like he's not the most likable guy, but if he, sits behind Flacco for a year or two, he might learn a thing or two.
Very possible.
So I think I would be completely on board with trading a third round pick for him, which it sounds like that's what his value is right now. Mm-hmm. And if it's, the 10th pick in the third round, like you have more leverage than a lot of other teams would have.
For a third round pick, I think that is ideal. I don't necessarily think that I would be happy with it, mostly because I've never liked the atmosphere of having like a quarterback competition. And when you bring in an individual who, in his own mindset, has it that he should be the starter, he's drafted in the first round, he deserves to. What was he, like 10th overall last year?
Something like that, yeah.
So, like, in his brain, like, yeah, there's probably a little bit of an ego that it's going to have to get checked at the door. But going into next season, if he's a Bronco, in his mind, it's going to be like, this is a quarterback competition. I got to beat out Joe Flacco. And
that's a good mindset to have.
It is a great
opinion.
mindset to have as an individual, but when you're trying to turn your team around, now we're looking at the team management side of things. I don't think it's ideal to have uncertainty on who's going to be the leader of your team.
I don't know if the Broncos think that Flacco is the answer or what they think Flacco's role is going to be. Like, do they think Flacco's going to be the starter for the next 4 or 5 years?
I'd say maybe 2 at most.
This year plus one more.
I just want to know,
pending the draft and who we maybe pick up.
He's definitely not a long-term solution, and I don't think
2, maybe 3.
I don't think that's the goal. Is to hold on to him for 5 years. I don't think the Broncos want to do that.
When I think the Broncos need to do something in this year's draft to plan for the future at quarterback, whether it's drafting somebody,
we should wait one more year.
Which, in my opinion, I think that's the ideal scenario, and I think they should trade out of the first round, build up picks for next year.
I mean, unless we can get like
next year.
Dwayne Haskins or Drew Lock, and even they're saying Drew Lock's like almost undersized. But Dwayne Haskins they have going at like 5 or 6. If he falls and he's there at 10 and we don't have to trade at all, I say pull the trigger on Haskins. But right now, this year, in my opinion, he's the only quarterback worth taking. I wouldn't even, if Kyler Murray slipped down to 10, I would pass on him. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's going to be successful in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see him going past 4 with the Raiders.
Oh no, I mean it's all hype and things like that. Like, can the dude sling it? For sure. But can he make that transition from collegiate football with no matter what team you play against, there's going to be holes in the defense on the collegiate level. Not everyone is playing at an elite level when you're in college. When you make that jump into the NFL, every single person that you have to play against is at that elite level. And the holes in the defense that you're looking for and trying to exploit are very few and far between, because each individual player that's on the field knows exactly what they're doing, where they're supposed to be. Mistakes happen. We see that in the NFL every year. There's always going to be a hole. But the level of play is exponentially higher at the NFL than it is in college. And I think Kyler Murray probably should have waited one more year or just gone and played baseball with the A's.
Yeah. I mean, he's an incredible athlete for sure. He's going to be a first-round pick in baseball and football.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. I don't know if he's going to be good or not. Like, that's kind of what's great about the draft is it's a crapshoot.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can find huge value in the 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds. You can find huge value in no rounds.
Yeah.
Look at Philip Lindsay.
That's true. I mean, Tom Brady was a 6th round draft pick.
Yeah.
Look at him now. I mean, you just got to get lucky sometimes.
He still looks like a normal ass dude. Like, never had 6-packs.
No.
Never was like putting up 20 reps on bench. Like, he looks like a normal dude. He's tall. I mean, he's not like 6'7", 6'8".
No, I think he's like 6'4", something like
Which
that.
is like that's fine.
Yeah.
But his mind for the game and being able to exploit whatever weaknesses he's able to discover while playing on the field, like, he's done that. And he's got 6 rings, and now, whether you like it or not, I certainly don't, he's the best quarterback to play the game.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I just hope they do something to plan for the quarterback position, whether it's this year or next year. That's why I think trading for Rosen, who was a 1st-round pick last year, early 1st-round pick.
The value's there.
Exactly.
The value's there, but I don't think if we're putting our eggs in the basket for next year, we're not going to make a play for someone that's that young this season.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just want to see him do something at the quarterback position.
We definitely need improvements on the offensive line. We need linebackers.
Well, especially since our Billy Turner and the extension talks have ceased. Mm-hmm. So we're going to need to replace another 11-game starter from last year.
Well, Matt Paradis, apparently he wants to be the highest paid center in the league, which will be like $13 million.
Draft a center out of college. Like,
right.
Center, as far as my knowledge goes, which is not very extensive, I'll admit, but center position is all about ball security. That's job number 1. Make sure the transition between the ground, your hand, and the quarterback's hands are all clean.
When you control the offensive line, it's like pre-play, you get everybody set, and you're the ones making the call before the play, how the offensive line should react, according to how the defense is lined up. So the center position, I think it's probably takes more mental.
Second most important on the line.
Yeah, I would think so.
Outside of left tackle.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be as physically gifted as a guard or a tackle.
Right.
But as far as your knowledge of the game and your leadership, you need to be the best.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a position where the Broncos could take a gamble, grab a younger kid who has shown that acuity to the game, and teach him how to do everything properly. Maybe he's not the strongest or the fastest or even the biggest. Get an undersized center who's taking care of the ball throughout his collegiate career. I think it's worth taking the gamble on that, saving some money, spending it elsewhere on other veterans that are available. This year is going to be tremendous value at the safety position.
I know.
We just let Darian Stewart walk, and now you're looking at Landon Collins,
Earl Thomas,
Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah.
Weddle's off the board.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Where'd he go?
With the Rams.
Okay.
Oh,
God.
Oh,
Rams
got,
are already starting to...
Yeah.
Jeez.
The Rams got rid of their safety. I forget his name. But he was one of the top 6 or 7 safeties on the market.
But either way, safety position right now, ain't nobody getting big money as a safety.
No.
Because there's too many of you guys that are experienced.
Exactly.
And you're going to be asking for good money. And someone's going to break, and it's going to drop the average contract
you're not gonna have,
at that position. And it's an underpaid position as it is.
Yeah, because you're not going to have 10 teams bidding over one guy.
And nobody's going to want to spend $10 or $12 million on a safety either.
No.
And that's what half of those dudes are asking for.
Yeah, that's what Earl Thomas wants. He wants to be the highest paid safety in
Landon
history.
Collins. I mean, they've got the
Weddle signed
record.
Apparently a 2-year deal for 12.5.
But that's 2 years, so that's 6 each year.
Well, he's
pretty solid.
What is he?
Yeah.
That's a good deal for the Rams. They got a good
for the Rams,
safety.
That's a good deal.
They got a good safety for 2 years.
But he's 34 years old or something like that.
6-time Pro Bowler.
But if you're looking at Earl Thomas or Landon Collins, they almost want double that for a year, or at least give me 2 years, $16 million, 12 of that is guaranteed.
Yeah. I think Collins is going to set the standard for safeties.
Yeah.
Because Earl Thomas, I think he's the better safety,
how
but his
dumb are the
age and the
Giants?
injuries.
You're gonna pay Eli what, like $34 million or something stupid?
I know.
And you're gonna let
get rid of
one
him?
of the best safeties in the game go? Like,
At least franchise tag him if you can't work out a deal yet.
Yeah.
I just
I would love to see him as a Bronco. Just don't know how much it's going to cost, though.
But it's gonna be interesting to see what
Maybe
happens
that's the
over the
splash
next.
we make.
Could be.
Who knows?
I mean, if it was 3 years, $27 million, I think I might be okay with that. It's a lot for a safety, but
Average 9 or lower per year or so.
Mm-hmm.
15 guaranteed.
Yeah.
13.
Exactly.
13.
Because of silly NFL contracts.
All that would be great, and that would upholster our secondary. But we've got about a month and a half until the NFL draft, so a lot can happen. Next week is where we're going to see most of the moves because that's, I think, Wednesday is the official day of the
new league
start.
year. Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be cool to see what moves we make over the next month and a half, 2 months. And as we get closer to the draft day, things are going to be falling into their places, and we'll have a better idea of what our defense and offensive situation is going to be.
Yeah, we definitely need help on offense. There's just
Offensive line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's really no good free agents out there on offensive line. There's a few, but they're going to be, demanding $13 to $15 million a year.
It's not doable.
So they're
not
gonna
sustainable.
They're going to have to do it in the draft, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that's going to take time to develop them. So it'll probably be another rough year for the Broncos offense.
Fingers crossed.
I know.
We'll make it work.
I mean, Philip Lindsay, a year under his belt. I can't wait to see what he's going to do this year. With that experience, he's going to be terrifying for the rest of the league, I feel like.
Boing,
Sweet.
boing,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on from the Broncos, the Avalanche are continuing to be a little disappointing.
Yep.
They lost to San Jose and Anaheim, correct?
Yeah, they did.
And then
They beat the Red Wings.
Beat the Red Wings, and then what was Friday night? Thursday night? Sorry.
Last night, the Stars.
4-0 loss.
Stars.
Yeah, 4-0.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider the Stars to be about the same level as the Avalanche, slightly above average. So the fact that we barely beat the Red Wings, which they're a dumpster fire, and we got destroyed by the Stars, it's like they're going in the wrong direction.
Us in like kitchen grease fire status.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just keep trending down. They had that little spike after the All-Star break.
So, Miles, you spoke earlier that Landeskog is now out 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's an upper body injury, so who knows
what or how extensive.
Yeah, but I mean, even if he returns at 4 weeks, that's past the end of the season, right, Jordan?
I think
There's
so.
like 14 games left.
Yeah. So that'd be like right at the
2 or
end of the
3
season.
weeks maybe.
Like he's not playing this year unless we make the playoffs.
So we start like purposely losing? Like, do we
Tank?
We've got Ottawa's first round pick, and right now
They're
probably going to be
bottom of the
number
league.
one.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So
with the lottery, like, it should be, 3 or 4
but like
at the highest.
Because of the lottery, do we increase our chances by just saying, screw it? Let's play. Let's throw our younger dudes in, get some good ice time for those guys, but we're not trying to win, particularly win games.
Different lines or get Grubauer some more ice time.
Because if we have 2 lottery picks, the probability is low, but you could get 1 or 2 or 2 and 4.
I think, like, going back to you saying playing the younger guys, like, if we bring, like, our guys that like Connor Timmins and whatnot that we think are going to be the next stars of the team. If we bring them up from the AHL at this time, then we lose a year of their control on their contract. So I don't think we should do that at this point, just because they probably won't help the team. Like, you would only do that if you thought they could help the team
the
win.
Other filler players right now, they don't really have a future on the team as far as who's on the lineup currently.
Yeah, I mean, the young guys that are on the team currently, like, they're starters. Like
so the
Sam
biggest
Girard,
thing probably would be
Rantanen.
Just seeing and figuring out what our goalie situation is.
Yeah. Like, I think they should just stick with the current team for the rest of the year. And I think they should go for it. They're only 4 points out of the playoffs, and they're already going to get a top 5 pick. Like, it'd be nice to get two of them. But if you could squeak into the playoffs and see what happens, if you could make the playoffs and still have the number 1 overall pick, that's a pretty good season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I agree.
Like, if we didn't have Ottawa's first round pick, I might say,
it's just
like, they're trending down, so keep going down.
After seeing what happened in the first round of the playoffs last season, I have a feeling if they did make it, it's going to be more of the same.
I think so, too.
4 and out.
They went to 6 games against the Predators.
Okay, so they won 1.
They won 2. Well, at the time, the Predators were like one of the Stanley Cup favorites. So when they won 2 in the playoff series against them, everybody was like, "Oh my God, the Avs are legit." But in the next series, the Predators, I think they got swept or something.
Okay.
And so it's like, all right, the Predators actually weren't that good.
Well,
so I think
something's got to break though. Like, if they do make a push with 14 games left and 4 points back, like, every game's a must-win game right now, right?
Pretty much. Oh,
because just because we're 4 points behind doesn't mean that the teams ahead of us aren't gonna win.
But luckily, the Avs are in the Western Conference, which has not been very good. So it's been a couple really good teams like the Predators and the Jets.
Everyone's struggling
for the
as
most
a whole
part.
in the
Like,
West.
yeah, everybody's just fighting for a playoff spot. So I think that's the only reason the Avs are actually 4 points behind. If they were in the Eastern Conference, they'd probably be 10 or 12 points
You've given me some hope, Jordan. I still personally think that the Avs should just throw this season away. It was a good try, but you've given me some hope that if they do make the playoffs, that there's still hope for a nice Stanley Cup push in our near future.
And with the NHL, how the NHL playoffs are designed, like, if we're the 8th seed, we won't have to play the number 1 seed. We just play the number 1 team in our division.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird like that. So that could be the 3 seed. So it's like we may not even have to play the best team in the Western Conference.
And then it's just like a mental game, like, hey, everyone get their stuff together and play good hockey.
Yeah.
Don't let goals in.
Like, I just love playoff hockey, and I want to see the Avs in it. Even if they go one and done, they still get that experience, and they're a super young team. So I think, that'll be huge.
So if we make the playoffs, you think Landeskog misses that entire first series?
I don't think so.
You think he plays?
I would guess.
Maybe
like, he's the captain of the team.
I mean, if it's wrist, you can still, like, puck handle and shoot with, like, a bum wrist. It sucks, but you can do it.
Like, if you're out 4 to 6 weeks, would that, like, be a sprain or would that be a break?
Could
what do you guys think?
A minimal fracture, which is if playoffs are on the line. I know I've played with injuries with nothing on the line, and if I was getting paid millions of dollars and playoffs were on the line,
and you're the captain of the team,
I'm definitely gonna play.
Yeah.
And
I think he'll make sure he's on the ice.
Unless you have, like, a team doctor telling you, like, significant long-term damage is going to be high probability. Like, hey, doc, can I play on this and do all the mobility? Like, just pop some pain pills before the game. Is it possible? Is it going to hurt anything in the long term? The doctor's like, it's going to suck. You're going to be in a lot of pain. But, yeah, like, we can do surgery in the off season, or if you take 6 months off, you'll be perfectly fine for next season. I think he's definitely going to be in it to play. But, again, with it being an quote-unquote upper body injury.
Yeah, what does that mean?
There's a lot of options.
Is it his wrist? Is it his face?
Shoulder?
Did he snap his neck? Like I watched the
elbow?
I watched the
Broken
replay.
rib?
It definitely looks like an extremity, like arm, wrist area.
Yeah.
But the way they generalize the injury makes me think it's not that serious.
But 4 to 6 weeks.
I think the 4 to 6 weeks is more
precaution.
like precautionary for sure.
Okay, I hope so. Either way, like I hope he doesn't play until the playoffs. Just to be
Maybe
safe.
that's a way to shut him down until then.
Mm-hmm.
And what if they start playing better?
Cut him.
Like, well, no, not cut him, but like, obviously, I was calling. I don't know if
trade him, just cut him.
I don't know if it was last week. It might have been 2 weeks ago where I was like, maybe the Avs should just start like switching up the lineups, like splitting dudes up and things like that. Like just.
Well, they did start doing that, and that's when they started playing a lot
better. And then
better.
they got away from it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like they went back to the regular old lineups.
So this injury kind of forces them to like, well, someone's got to step up.
Exactly.
Well, I was reading
And then
that
it's just like
Brassard is going
dominoes,
to be taking over the
for sure.
first line.
He's been awesome.
I'm happy with that trade.
Yeah. First, I thought it was kind of a blah trade, but
he's been consistent. It doesn't seem to have affected team chemistry within the players that he's playing with on his line. But if he can step into the first line and still be productive, because how old is he? Like 29, 30?
I think 30.
So he's not one of these 21-year-old kids coming in and slaying it on the ice. But he's an experienced veteran, what makes that trade pretty good for the Avs, considering the position they're in to make a good playoff push. But
when he plays his ass off, he's not the most talented guy, but like he plays his ass off.
He's a hustler.
And I think the young players kind of need that type of person on the team. Like that's what Landeskog
And they can
does.
learn from it too. Like, oh, I'm super talented, but this dude's playing way better, and he sucks.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He works so hard, but he sucks. So yeah, I'm not too optimistic that they'll make the playoffs, but I hope they make the playoff push. And they're at least close.
We're only a few points back. We're there.
4 points.
It's possible.
That's 2 games. Who's in the 8th seed? Do you guys know?
Minnesota.
Yeah, if they lose 2 games and the
I
Avs
think
win
Minnesota
2,
is 74 and Dallas is 75.
Okay.
And then Phoenix is right between us, and they're at 71.
Okay.
We just need one more overtime loss, and we're tied with Phoenix.
There you go.
And then 4 more.
They'll make
and
it
then
happen.
4 more overtime losses with everyone else losing that whole time.
And then that would put us, at 17 overtime losses?
Like tied for 8th, probably. Oh, yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And tied for 8th? Yeah.
I know. Are they 3-12 now in overtime? I think they've won their last 2 in overtime.
I do.
We've been doing a lot better as of late.
I did have it.
So they beat the Red Wings in a shootout a few nights ago.
We have 12 overtime losses, but it doesn't say how many overtime
I want to say
wins
we're 3
we've
and
had.
12, yeah.
I think so.
But that sounds right.
Because we had 1 for so long.
They were 1-12.
Like 1 and 8, 1 and 9, 1 and 10, 1 and 11.
Well, and they would lose within the first 45 seconds over overtime each
Yeah,
time.
like not even
Yeah.
like an opportunity. Like you get one possession, you miss your shot, and then goal.
Yep. It's like, miss your shot, breakaway, goal.
Maybe they just shouldn't overcommit. I mean, obviously it's hard when it's 3-on-3 and the ice is that open.
Yeah.
But
still.
Maybe play a large triangle, 2 dudes up, 1 dude back.
When they're such a fast team, I think they'd be able to keep up on such an open ice. Like, I would think they would be able to dominate 3-on-3.
After 60 minutes of play, obviously not each individual player, but let's say you got 22 minutes of ice time in a night, and then you're on the overtime line. You're gonna be tired.
Yeah, it's true, but the other team's gonna be tired too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I've watched almost all their overtimes, and I can't figure it out. They just look like they don't know what they're doing. It's like they freak out. Like I'm sure they practice it.
It's not a shootout?
Yeah. Thought we were going right to shootout. That's what we practice all week, coach. So we'll see. Should be an exciting end of the season, I hope. Hopefully they go 10-4, make the playoffs.
Make a good push.
Yeah.
Like 10-4 wouldn't be bad. That would leave us at 90 points on the year. That's a pretty good season, right?
Yeah.
2 points per win.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah.
Assuming they go 10-4.
Yeah. Right. Probably not gonna happen.
But yeah, no. If they won, 5-6 straight, go on a nice little win streak, that would be really nice.
It's really going to depend on the goaltending.
Let me pull up their schedule real quick, and we can kind of look at what they got. So, today's Friday the 8th. The Avalanche play the Sabres, Buffalo Sabres, at home tomorrow night. So we've got a nice little homestand. So Sabres on Saturday. We got the Canes on Monday. Is that Atlanta, right? Atlanta Hurricanes?
Carolina.
Same.
Yeah. They're close. They're neighbors.
And then we got the Ducks, which, maybe a little bit of some...
Well, the Ducks, they're tricky because their team is awful.
Well,
their goalie is elite.
We went out there, we lost.
Yeah.
They're coming over here. Maybe we can get a little redemption. Some Tosh.0 web dev redemption kind of thing. And then after the Ducks, we got the Devils. So, if we can get through the Sabres, we can get through the Canes. I think that might give us enough confidence to plow through the Ducks and the Devils.
I mean, that's a pretty easy schedule coming up.
And then
the Sabres are pretty good.
And then the Wild closes out March. So then, we've got a pretty significant break. Oh, no. I lied. Wild does not close out March. So Wild, Stars, Blackhawks twice.
2 times.
So that's going to be interesting because we play them at home on the 23rd, and then we fly to Chicago same night because that's an afternoon game.
The benefit is that we
play the Blackhawks in Chicago the very next day.
We're both on a travel day.
Both on a travel day, back to back.
Yeah.
It's actually not a bad finish to the season. They should win most of those games. Blackhawks
we play the Knights.
Could be tough. Sabres could be tough.
And then only 4 games in April. So, March is make or break it for the Avs, basically.
I think so.
There's at least 3 or 4 should be certain wins.
Yeah. They're playing teams that are as good as them or worse than them.
Right.
In my opinion. So it could be a strong finish.
But then they finish out the season pretty hard. They got the Blues, the Oilers, the Jets, and the Sharks.
That's brutal.
So
get some momentum rolling.
March right? Is where they really gotta. I say if they win 6 to 8 games in March, remaining of what's left, then we've got a good opportunity to make it in the playoffs. But if we drop 5 of those.
Right.
I don't think
we're
going to do it. Those last 4 games. It's a long season.
They shouldn't be any
game.
of those teams. I mean, they.
It's hard to predict, but we gotta have faith.
I know it's the captain's gone though. It's all right. The rest of the team will pick it up. We'll see. I just don't know how the first 2 months were so good. And then it's been this.
Well, they started, 20-10 or something like that?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was, but they were at the top of the Western Conference for a little bit. Yep.
After the break.
I remember when...
December. That's really where it went down.
Well, there were a few weeks where McKinnon and Rantanen were, battling each other for most goals in the NHL. It's holy shit, are we going to have, 2 MVPs on our team?
It's not sustainable.
No. And they've proven that. So we'll see. I think it's going to come down to goaltending for the Avs, and it's been very hit or miss on that front, which is very frustrating. And I want Grubauer to be the goaltender of the future. But so far, he hasn't proven that.
Give him a chance to prove it.
I agree. Varley's getting old. He needs a break. He's getting ready for the playoffs. So
go back to Russia.
Give it to Grubauer. I think he should play at least half the remaining games to see what he's got.
Nice little stamina push.
Exactly. So we can figure out if we need to draft a goalie or not.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to how the Avs close out the season, and we'll touch back on next Friday to see what kind of progression we made, since there's going to be like 3 or 4 games between now and then. Going to close out the night with some Nuggets updates. Right now, we are currently watching the Nuggets play the Warriors, and they are down 47-46 with 4 minutes left in the second quarter. So
after an abysmal first quarter,
it looks like they're starting to find some rhythm, and we're handling the Warriors. It's not like when the Warriors came to Denver and just completely demolished us.
Well, I mean, that was also NBA league-wide record-setting
first
performance.
Quarter.
Like,
yeah,
you can't.
Well, yeah, the whole game.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because they scored, 144?
140, yeah, 140, 144. But Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant were all over 30 points. I think Klay made like 9 3-pointers that game. Like, it was ridiculous. But I'm just glad that the Nuggets are back full healthy. When the Warriors came to town, I think Gary Harris was out, Will Barton was out. And
if anything, Barton was limited.
Yeah.
Very
like,
limited. Yeah.
We weren't at 100%, and the Nuggets haven't been 100% basically all season, which I think is pretty impressive that we're still second in the West with as many injuries as we've had to deal with. But if the Nuggets, I think, even if the Nuggets lose tonight against the Warriors, as long as it's close, that's a good confidence boost. We're one of the youngest teams in the league, and if we can take care or like be competitive with the reigning NBA champions,
that's big.
That's awesome.
Especially after what they
back to back.
Yeah. Well, aren't the Nuggets 1-3 in their last 4 games? Is that right? So I know they had a 3-game losing streak.
That is correct.
Same with the Warriors. They've been on kind of a little skid too.
Okay.
The Celtics came into Golden State and beat them.
They stomped on them.
Yeah.
Good. They deserve
it. What was it, like a 30-point victory?
Steve Kerr came out and was like, the fans deserve better than that. Like, we need to play better at our own home. Like, so, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the final was between the Celtics and the Warriors, but all I know is with all the issues the Celtics have had, they had no reasoning to win that game. And they came in and took care of business.
It was 128-95.
It's a 33-point win.
The Warriors did not score above 100, which is surprising.
But they're a 3-point shooting
team. They had
team.
Klay out,
and the
live or die by
terminology. Yeah, like that's ever since the 3-point line's come out and teams have tried to focus on it. Like, you live or die by the 3, and if you're not making your 3-pointers, you're gonna lose. And I feel like that's what the Nuggets were trying to be when we went on that 3-game lose streak.
Yeah.
We lost to, was it the Jazz first?
Yep.
Like, that was a hard fought game. The Jazz came in wanting to like prove themselves as like a contender almost, even though they're like 7th seed, maybe 6th.
I think 5th or 6th.
Either way, they came into our house and they beat us. And I thought that was going to be eye-opening for the Nuggets. And they're like, all right, like, let's beat the Pelicans. But even last week when we recorded, I was like, well, like, the Pelicans are still a pro team. Even if AD doesn't play, Drew Holiday is going to ball out. And he did. What I didn't think of was Julius Randle coming out and dropping like 26, 27 points as well. And, like, the Nuggets did not know what to do, and we kept trying to jack up some ridiculous shots. Our turnovers got extremely out of hand. And then what was the game after that they lost?
Oh, gosh.
I feel like they traveled. They went somewhere. It was the start. Or no, the Lakers was the start of the traveling. And that's the one.
They beat the
That's
Lakers,
the most recent one that we won.
Yeah. Those
Spurs.
Spurs. Yeah, we went down to San
Antonio.
Antonio, and that was close. We played like poop, but we lost by 1.
Yeah.
We came back in the fourth quarter, But we did, like, that whole game, we should have lost that game, for sure.
Well, at this point, like, according to the standings, I haven't looked at it in a bit, but, like, we'd probably either play the Jazz or the Spurs in the first round, I think.
Right now, it's the Spurs.
The Spurs today. Okay. Both
but
teams
we are one
me.
of the best home teams.
That's true.
And in that first round, we will have home court advantage.
But still.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Jazz scare me more than the Spurs. Seems like the Nuggets struggle with the big defensive
Well,
teams.
the Jazz are like the Nuggets. Like, they play at altitude. They run the ball. And they're much more defensive than the Nuggets are.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert, I would say, is one of the best centers in the league, not because of his offense, strictly because of his defense. But then you look at Nikola Jokic, one of the best centers in the league, mostly because of his offense, and not anything to do with his defense.
Defense is getting better, but yeah.
So when you've got a dude that sucks at offense playing against a dude that sucks at defense, all right, it's a wash.
Yeah.
But when you have a dude playing offense that's really good, playing against a dude playing defense that's really good, it's like, all right, who's going to break first?
Exactly.
And that's what the Jazz did. They had Jokic at like 4 fouls within like 3 minutes of the third quarter.
Because he only played like 20 minutes, right?
Well, because he had to sit on the bench, otherwise he was going to foul out.
But he still scored, I think it was like 20, 22 points. It's like to play only...
It's good efficiency, but if he's not on the floor, like the way he was playing, he could have easily put up 35.
Which the Nuggets
would
have won that game
he sat
if
almost
he was
the
in foul
entire
trouble.
second half. I think he played
except for like the last 5-6 minutes.
Right, 3 or 4 minutes in the third, and then the last 5-6 minutes in the fourth. So out of 24 minutes, he played like 9.
You can't do that, especially when you're the leader on the team. Like, you got to be on
and
the
nobody
court.
stepped up. The only person that stepped up was Will Barton, and that was at the very end. And he seemed like the only dude on the floor that thought that they could win, and he was right. He brought us back within, I think, 4 or 5, and then obviously Donovan Mitchell comes in and making all these circus shots and drilling long-range three-pointers like it's nothing. Like, sometimes these players just get in the zone and they're able to just be dialed in. Like, it's impressive to watch, even if they're not on our team. It's you got to recognize the talent that is around the league. And now, everyone thought the Spurs were going to be not even in the playoffs, but it's like, as long as Greg Popovich is coaching the team, it doesn't matter who's on the Spurs.
Yeah.
They're going to be in the playoffs. And I think they're like, this year's going to be like the 21st straight season. I was just about to look that up. Like, that they make the playoffs.
Seasons.
It's insane.
And that's even an understatement.
Yeah. So I think ideally, if we play the Jazz, I think we can take care of the Jazz. The Spurs will be a much tougher team, only because Popovich is like the playoff master. Like, they call Phil Jackson the Zen master, but like Greg Popovich is right there.
Yeah.
He's got 5 rings. He doesn't have the 10 that Phil Jackson has, but Pop didn't have to go to multiple teams to get those.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's true. And the fact that he's gone to the playoffs 21
and Phil
straight
Jackson
years.
has coached 3 if you want to include Shaq, of the most influential players the NBA has seen, with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
If you Greg Popovich had like a trio that he, with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, like with all 3 of them on the floor, they were nearly unstoppable. And they were
the first big 3.
They were putting up 50-win seasons like it was nothing. Like, a low 50-win season for the Spurs was like a poor season. Like, oh no, we're 4th seed. This sucks. Let's go to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's true.
So I think
the Spurs,
the Nuggets are in a better position to go advance to the second round if we play the Jazz than if we were to play the Spurs. But I think there's
which team do you think is more talented, the Spurs or the Jazz? Like, is Pop the wild card, or do you think the Spurs are a better overall team?
Honestly, I do think the Spurs are a better overall team.
Okay.
Right now, their record isn't the better record, but they're more experienced. The Jazz are very young, and I think in the long term, the Jazz have more potential. But right now, for this season, I see the Spurs making it farther than the Jazz, and that's not good news if the Nuggets play the Spurs the first round.
Oh gosh.
And that's, I would say that's solely more on Popovich than
right. Looking at it, the Spurs are 7th and the Jazz are 6th. So if the playoffs were today, we would have to play the Spurs.
It'd be fun to watch OKC and Utah go at it, though.
But the Spurs are also tied with the Clippers, and I think if the Clippers squeaked into that 7th spot, then the Nuggets have that in the bag.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd be sitting pretty.
For sure. Yeah. So, Utah's only a half game ahead of the Spurs. So, 6, 7, and 8, they're all basically tied with each other. So anything can happen with, 64 games that we've played. So we've got 18 left. With 18 games, and as the top 8 teams, as close as it is,
17 and a half.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's true. What do you think was the reason for their 3-game losing streak? It kind of seemed like they're... I
think a little bit was fatigue.
Okay.
But then also with having such a full squad available. Isaiah Thomas has been getting, 15 to 20 minutes a game now.
That's kind of where I was going. It seemed like when IT came back, the chemistry was a little bit different.
Absolutely. I agree.
Well, this bench unit has been absolutely horrific.
Yeah.
And it's been poor shot choices.
Poor decision making.
They're not moving the ball
in any way, shape, or form by IT.
Well, is he shooting too much?
I think so.
He shoots.
I think so.
He started really well when he first came back in the first game against the Kings, and then this first game after the All-Star break.
Okay.
Since then, he's 1 for 13 from beyond the arc.
Oof. Yeah, that's not good.
and Mike Malone was the coach that drafted Isaiah Thomas. So I think he's trying to give him benefit of the doubt, let's get you heated up. Because if IT does get to the confidence level and consistency that he was at, the Nuggets are going to be extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
But if he continues to not be consistent, then he is definitely a weight that's dragging us down, and he might drown us.
Exactly.
I think I think Monte Morris needs more playtime, and
Absolutely.
Isaiah's eating into that too much.
Yes, I agree completely. And I think we will see a little more continuity as far as what the bench unit looks like once we get within, say, 10 games. Because then you're going to want to pace your players to be playing, 30-plus minutes. And if you can't put in a 30-minute game at the end of the season, you're not going to be able to play high-level playoff basketball. So once we get inside of 10 games left in the season, I think we're going to see a true probably 8-person lineup. Right now, we can see upwards of 10 or 11 dudes play in a single game.
Yeah.
And I think once we get under 12 or 10 games left, it's going to be 8 dudes are playing. Because guess what? You're not reliable. You're not reliable. You're not reliable. These dudes are reliable, and we need to retain this second seed position. Because if not,
I'd say 9 dudes.
If we let OKC or Houston take over that second seed, that's going to leave us in a difficult position in the second round of the playoffs. Because whoever we match up against is going to be the real deal.
Yeah, that's true. I was hoping IT would be the X factor when he came back.
He still can be.
Which he might be in the playoffs.
I don't think he's even 100% physically yet either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think he's probably playing at 80 to 85% health level, and that affects
70% mental.
Level. That affects what he's capable of doing. Because I've attended a few games over the last couple weeks, and just watching him on the floor, his defense is non-existent.
that always kind of has been.
You can look at, but like the effort.
Okay, I got you.
Though, like when he's out on the floor, it's like I'm just like one time. We were on defense, and it looked like he was getting ready to he was hanging out on the 3-point arc, like he was playing for the other team. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, where's your man? Get on your man. Like, that's not your zone.
I'm taking his shot for him.
And then it was in that particular instance, it was like a missed shot. We got the rebound, and IT was looking for like the breakout, like fast break outlet.
Yeah.
But I think his mentality is trying to create too many opportunities for himself. He's not thinking about the team because he's trying to find a better position for himself next season.
Well, the Nuggets, they've gotten to this point because of team basketball.
Right.
Without IT.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't want to get on the train, then I think he probably needs to get shut down. We won't bring him back next year, and he probably won't get the contract that he wants personally.
Exactly. I doubt he would have been back next year
anyways,
no matter what.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think the Nuggets really need him.
But that's kind of my point is if Isaiah Thomas wants a longer career in the NBA, he's going to have to get on the train and play our game.
Yeah.
He can't have this mentality. Like, even when he came back, he had the interview, and he's like, I'm going to play my type of game no matter what. Like, I don't want to call it a selfish interview, but you can definitely tell that his mindset is me first. He doesn't care about the playoffs. It sounds like he's imparted some good wisdom to the younger dudes on the Nuggets team, but I don't think his heart is entirely with this team. And the only way he has a longer NBA career is if he falls in line, essentially.
Kind of views the Nuggets as a stepping stone.
Swallow some pride and let Monty Morris and Malik Beasley play more. Because guess what? They're more consistent. They take care of the ball better, and they can actually hit their threes.
Well, Morris is one of the best assist to turnover ratio in the league.
Yeah. Like, that dude could be a starter on almost any other team.
Yeah.
Almost.
Sans like the top 4 in the West.
I mean, I would say even like Drew Holiday, Eric Bledsoe, they're better than Monty Morris.
Yeah.
Monty Morris isn't putting up, 32, 35 minutes a game.
But I'm thinking
but in the position that he's in right now, he's getting a lot of significant opportunities to play at a high level and become better. And the long-term Nuggets team is going to be in a great position for the next 3 to 4 years after this year.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not worried about where we're going. I'm more worried for this particular current season. We can't – the team that we have, the talent that is available to us, we can't get out in the first round. We got to get out of the first round of the playoffs.
Well, when was the last time the Nuggets got out of the first round of the playoffs?
2008, 2009.
So it's been a while.
10 years.
Yep.
I'm just so used to them losing in the first round. I remember when they lost to Golden State in the first round when the Nuggets were the 2 or 3 seed? 7 years ago? That was when Golden State really made their statement in the NBA. They were the young and upcoming team.
Right.
And the Nuggets were supposed to dominate them. But
we got...
they had Steph Curry. We didn't know what Steph Curry really was.
What is a Steph Curry?
Right?
Oh.
All right.
I got you.
And I hope the Nuggets are that team this year. The young and upcoming team. That's going to shock everybody.
We've been flying under the radar this entire season, so that's why I'm okay with them dropping into the 3rd seed. It's dangerous for them to drop into the 3rd seed, but when you're number 1, there's definitely a target on your back. Any team that plays you is going to play you as hard as they possibly can. And the way the NBA is structured now, almost every team is a super team.
Yeah.
It's true.
Doesn't matter which way you look at it, whose record is what. The talent capabilities of all the teams in this league is phenomenal.
Well, the salary cap is so high in the NBA,
Yeah.
and you only have to, what is it, like 12 people?
I think 15 is your final roster,
Okay.
but 12 I think is your max active.
Okay, yeah. But the salary cap is so high that you just,
Plus,
pay 3 or 4 players as much as they want.
The luxury tax.
That's true.
And
right?
there's luxury tax.
Right?
You can pay to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like mobile games, like on your cell phone. Like nobody's got free fun games anymore. It's like no, we got microtransactions.
Yep.
And then you play better if you pay us.
Which is brilliant because you're going to spend more money that way.
Yeah. But I mean, like, as far as the luxury tax concerned, I think last year the Warriors' luxury tax was like $36 or $40 million. In one playoff series, they made their luxury tax cost, like off of ticket sales and everything for the
not
games
even like
that they
the
played.
Western Conference Finals.
No,
or the
like
NBA
one
Finals.
series, yeah.
Yeah.
And they
First or second
and they
round.
made the Western Conference. They won everything.
No, but yeah, I'm saying like
right.
your series that you're mentioning is first or second round. It's
Probably.
not a Western Conference or a Finals because you
Right.
make it way more
Yeah.
than just 36, 40 million.
Absolutely. So when you look
That's
at it
nuts.
that way, like for the team, is it worth it? Yeah, if we make the playoffs, it's worth it. It's a wash if you get out in the first round. Whatever. If you make it out of the first round, you're being profitable from the ownership side of things. Like you're making money, and then if you bring in championships, well, you just created more fans. More fans means more tickets.
Jersey
more fans
sales.
are buying more jerseys. More people. If you're selling out every single game throughout the season, that's more money because people got to eat. People got to pay parking. Like there's so much money involved in all these sporting events. It's insane to think about, but it's so much fun. It's such good entertainment.
I know. It's the
Like-
best. I don't know what I would do without Denver sports.
I know why some people are like, yeah, I'm not really into sports. I'd rather like go out hiking or, go bowling, do a bowling league. Like that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But
so
it
good
also
for
sounds
them.
like fun sitting and watching some sports and cheering for a team and saying, we did that. And you're not the we.
Well, just the sports community, like there's nothing like it.
It's good camaraderie.
Yeah. Like when the Broncos won the Super Bowl a few years ago, and just like being at the bar with everybody, like that was an incredible experience.
Yeah.
Wish I could have been at the Super Bowl.
I went to the
couldn't
parade.
imagine that.
It was amazing.
Oh, I took the day off and I thought about going, but I thought about it at about 9 a.m. and
It's
I
too
realized, I should have lined up.
It's too late, yeah.
6 hours ago.
I think I got down there at 9 a.m. and we were probably about a fifth of a mile away from like the stage. Which
That's not bad though,
You can cram a lot of people in a fifth of a mile.
right? Do you know how many people went to that?
Off the top of my head, no. It was a lot.
Okay, yeah.
It was a lot.
So I was watching on TV and there was a crap ton of people.
Traffic, like it looked like New York. Like I've never been to New York, but I've seen photos of like people in New York and traffic jam. Like it's gridlocked.
Times
Like
Square.
Denver was gridlocked. Like people were crossing the street in the middle of the street because cars weren't moving. And it was like, there's no crosswalk. You just walk across the street. The car's not gonna hit you. It's not going anywhere.
Right? That's awesome.
But yeah, I'd never seen Denver packed like that, and it was pretty interesting to see.
I know. See the Nuggets do it this year.
This
Go to that
one's for
parade.
Pat.
Yeah. That was adorable.
Oh, Annabelle.
So yeah.
You guys got anything else to add?
I'm just looking forward to the next 3 months of all things.
We
We
got-
NBA playoffs. Hopefully the Avs.
I know.
Got the
Rockies
draft.
coming into gear.
Rockies
we didn't
are coming
talk really
up.
about the Rockies much. Yeah.
Yeah, Rockies
All
are
of it.
Spring training.
opening
They beat the Rangers
days,
today,
like
11 to 10.
April 4th-ish.
Sure.
I think. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sounds right.
They've been really bad in spring training, but
I'm sure
it's spring training.
I'm sure we're gonna have a lot more to
Get to a
talk
point
about the
to take the
Rockies
training wheels off.
next
Yeah.
Friday.
Oh
Yes. Oh yes. Let's go Nuggets. Let's go Avs. Let's go Broncos free agency.
Eh? Question mark?
yeah. Come on,
Yeah.
LA, you can do it.
We got this.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Again, this has been 5280 Film Room. Please hit the subscribe button if you are on iTunes or YouTube. Otherwise, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well. Again, thanks for listening.
Peace.
Toodles.